Explain the difference between String and StringBuffer in Java. In Java, we have two important classes for handling text, String and StringBuffer. While both deal with sequences of characters, they have some key differences that affect their usage and performance in various scenarios. Let's start with mutability. Strings in Java are immutable, which means once you create a string object, you can't change its contents. Any operation that seems to modify a string actually creates a new string object. On the other hand, StringBuffer is mutable. You can change its contents without creating a new object each time. This difference in mutability leads to performance implications. When it comes to concatenation and modification, StringBuffer is generally faster. With String, each modification creates a new object, which can be slow if you're doing many operations. StringBuffer allows you to modify the same object repeatedly, which is more efficient. Related to performance is memory usage. Because String creates a new object for every modification, it can lead to higher memory consumption, especially when dealing with many changes. StringBuffer, being mutable, modifies the existing object, which can save memory in scenarios involving frequent changes. An important consideration in multi-threaded environments is thread safety. String, being immutable, is inherently thread-safe. You don't need to worry about multiple threads modifying it simultaneously. StringBuffer, however, is designed to be thread-safe. Its methods are synchronized, which means only one thread can access them at a time. When it comes to usage, strings are best for situations where you have fixed text or infrequent changes. If you're working with a piece of text that won't change much, like a constant value or a rarely modified property, String is a good choice. StringBuffer shines when you need to make frequent changes to your text, like building a dynamic query or assembling a complex message. The way you create these objects differs too. For string, you might use something like string_street equals hello or string_street equals new string hello. StringBuffer typically uses constructors like StringBuffer for an empty buffer or StringBuffer hello to start with some content. The methods available for each class reflect their nature. String has methods like length, char@, and substring for examining and extracting information. StringBuffer offers methods like append, insert, and delete for modifying its contents. One last point is about finalization. Strings are often declared as final, meaning their reference can't be changed after initialization. This aligns with their immutable nature. StringBuffer objects can be resized as needed, growing to accommodate more content. To illustrate when you might choose one over the other, consider building a SQL query. If you're constructing a complex query with many parts, StringBuffer would be more efficient. You can keep appending clauses without creating new objects each time. On the other hand, if you're working with fixed text like error messages or configuration settings, String would be perfectly suitable and simpler to use. The trade-off here is between simplicity and performance. Strings are straightforward and safe to use, but can be inefficient for heavy modifications. StringBuffer offers better performance for frequent changes but requires more careful handling, especially in multi-threaded scenarios. In summary, the key differences are mutability, performance in modification scenarios, memory usage, and thread safety. Choose String for simple, immutable text and StringBuffer when you need to efficiently build or modify text frequently, especially in multi-threaded environments. Understanding these differences will help you make the right choice in your Java programming tasks.